Pay attention, learn the lesson, like a possessing army present. Pay attention, learn the lesson, like a possessing army present. Pay attention, learn the lesson, like a possessing army present. Pay attention, learn the lesson, like a possessing army present.
Hakari is best described as an all-rounder. Some may argue he fits as a different category, but I believe this title suits him best. He has the standard 100 health, like most other characters. Hakari's R special is the Gachinko Club Bouncer, a simple counter. However, it only does retaliation damage if the enemy is close up as the counter triggers. Even if your opponent is far away and you can't land the counter, you can at least sacrifice it as a shield of sorts with the risk of some end lag. Reserve Balls is Hakari's first move. It's a pachinko ball that does a small amount of damage and a small amount of stun. If the ball is fired while close to the enemy, it will be ragdolled on impact. The interesting part of this move is the balls can bounce. The overall distance is unchanged, but the bounces add a whole new factor to the move that requires much more thought. The previously mentioned ragdoll effect when close is still persistent with bounces. It doesn't matter where the ball bounces, it will ragdoll the enemy if they were close when you used it. Shutter Doors is Hakari's combo extender. It slams 2 doors in front of the user with minor lock-on to enemies in front and nearby. The doors lock the enemy into the center of themselves and apply a decent amount of stun. The way this extender works is a bit weird, so here's a simple demonstration. If the move is used before any M1s, you will have all 4. If it's used after any M1s, you will automatically have 2 after use, no matter how many M1s you used before activation. Before anyone comments, you can extend fully by waiting. That was removed during the making of this video. Here, look, I had a whole segment ready and edited with fun sound effects and stuff, but Z took it from us. This move has 3 extra variants. The first variant is done by using the doors on nothing. By hitting nothing, the doors will stay where they were activated and can be used as a trampoline by their user. The second can be done by uppercutting an enemy, then using Shutter Doors. This will cause the enemy to bounce 3 times before landing ragdolled on the floor. This can be used as a good setup for his third move, which we'll get into shortly. This variant can also be activated by punching an enemy into doors that are already just sitting there, like in variant 1. The final variant is used in tandem with Reserve Balls. By pressing Shutter Doors directly after Reserve Balls, the doors will activate where the ball lands. This can be used to pick an enemy up from ragdoll and continue a combo. Rough Energy is Hakari's most straightforward move. It's a big swing punch full of, well, rough energy. It's a slow-moving attack that slams opponents with a great impact and solid knockback. The move is too slow to be used after an M1 chain safely, so it's best to be used after an uppercut or down slam. Rough Energy's air variant is a ground-shattering slam that knocks over everyone nearby. If used above the height of a single wall jump, the slam increases in size and damage, and becomes unblockable. Fever Breaker is Hakari's final base move. It is his easiest move to land, being a pseudo-grab that kicks the enemy into a door. The interesting part comes in the ability to aim the direction the enemy is flung after the door slam. By turning the camera a full 180 degrees, Hakari can keep the enemy close enough to side dash and continue a combo. Hakari is an absolute beast when it comes to full true combos. If you waste someone's ragdoll cancel, they have nothing to do but accept the fact that they're about to lose at least half of their entire health bar. By utilizing Reserve Balls and Shutter Doors, Hakari can effectively lock someone in for a combo from a much larger distance than you'd expect. These 3 full combos are only a few of the potential chains Hakari has. Start with the usual 3 M1s. Then use Shutter Doors, do 1 M1 into an uppercut, and instantly use Fever Breaker, Side Dash, Rough Energy, followed by Reserve Balls. This next one uses most of the different variants. 3 M1s, uppercut, Shutter Doors. Around the second bounce, do 3 M1s and jump into a down slam. Jump again and use Rough Energy, then instantly use Fever Breaker into Reserve Balls. Finally, we have a high damage combo. 4 M1s, use Reserve Balls and Shutter Doors together. Forward dash, 3 M1s, uppercut, use Fever Breaker, side dash, and Rough Energy. This is a pretty standard Hakari fight here. I start with a dash and slightly hit their side. I extend with Shutter Doors and attempt to land Fever Breaker, but they ragdoll cancel away. They knock me over, but I use my ragdoll cancel to quickly dash back and uppercut them into a Rough Energy, followed by a Reserve Ball. We exchange a few blows for a while. They miss a lot of attacks, actually. I don't know what they were trying to do. I then land more M1s into Shutter Doors. Please keep in mind this extension has been removed. I once again whiff the Fever Breaker due to their ragdoll cancel, but they miss their Nue, allowing me to fire a Reserve Ball to knock them over. I jump into a Rough Energy, block a few attacks, knock them over, then secure the victory with Shutter Doors. Alright, get ready to listen to me explain how gambling works for the next few minutes. I hope this is a good enough explanation, because this took me a good few hours of testing and researching. So, by pressing G, Hakari doesn't get an awakening like most other characters. Instead, he instantly uses his domain, Idle Death Gamble. Hakari and everyone else caught in the domain area are frozen in place and invincible until the domain is fully expanded. Upon the domain's finalization, everyone unfreezes and can now begin what is essentially a trapped free-for-all. The only way to leave a Hakari domain from the inside is by killing the Hakari who started it. Also worth noting is that this awakening does not heal you to full like all the other ones do. This one only gives you about a fifth of your health bar back. Hakari gains one new ability exclusive to his domain, the Consecutive Effect Special. By hitting an enemy with a reserve ball, Hakari can use his special to reverse time to when the ball made collision. This includes everyone's health inside of the domain. It will all be reverted to whenever the ball hits somebody. As long as the special is used within 8 seconds of the reserve ball hitting, this effect can be triggered. Reserve balls have also been altered to last far longer inside the domain, bouncing all over the place for much longer than usual. In order to achieve a jackpot, Hakari must activate a Ricci scenario. To do this, Hakari must use any 2 of his visual moves. These include reserve balls and shutter doors, or landing the attack of Fever Breaker, or landing a counter with Kachinko Club Bouncer. The easiest way to activate a Ricci scenario is definitely by the use of reserve balls and shutter doors, as these do not have to hit an opponent to activate a Ricci. Upon meeting this requirement, a Ricci scenario will begin. Depending on the color of the last visual move you used, the chance of the jackpot increases. All the visual moves will now randomly be either green, red, or gold inside of the domain. Green being the lowest chance, red being the most okay one, and gold being the best chance. When a Ricci scenario begins, it will either be the 1-star or 2-star scenario. The higher the star count, the more likely the jackpot. A 3-star scenario doesn't currently exist in-game, but if it is ever to be added, it will likely be the highest jackpot chance. The 1-star scenario is the transit card Ricci. In this scenario, Z will be attempting to walk through a train station security gate. If he passes through, you hit the jackpot. If Z flies backwards, you are taken back to roll for more Riccis. The 2-star Ricci is the travel emergency scenario. In this scene, Z attempts to make it to the restroom. If he makes it inside, you hit a jackpot. If he falls on his face, you are taken back to roll for more Riccis. Now on to the good stuff. How the jackpots work. After a Ricci ends, 3 numbers will be rolled on screen. If all 3 match, the domain shatters and Hakari enters the jackpot state. The jackpot length is dependent on how many Riccis you played. The first 3 give a minute and 40-second long awakening, while hitting it on the 4th will guarantee a jackpot, but with only a 50-second awakening penalty. Another factor is if the jackpot is even or odd numbered. An even jackpot will lead to the next Idle Death Gamble having much faster Ricci scenarios. If an odd jackpot is rolled, the following Idle Death Gamble will have an increased jackpot chance on the first 3 Ricci scenarios. These bonus effects only matter if you use it twice in the same life. If you are killed in between Idle Death Gambles, then there will be no benefits. If the domain is broken or you fail to win a jackpot, you can at least keep the meter you built from fighting inside. A jackpot unlocks Hakari's True Awakening moveset. This is the most blatant rushdown moveset I've ever seen in a game. With 3 out of the 4 moves being dash attacks, it's easy to chase down anyone, although it can be a bit hard to attack people who are above you. The R special is replaced by Rhythm. This special has Hakari do a little dance and permanently buff his attack speeds by 0.6 seconds. This special can be cancelled if Hakari is hit during the dance. On top of that, the special also makes moves come off cooldowns faster, and makes the actual move faster, as seen in these demonstrations here. Hakari also gains the passive Admiring You. This passive causes all damage to be rapidly healed at the cost of some ult meter. This essentially makes Jackpot immortal to all damage, apart from one-shots or multiple very high damage attacks landing back-to-back. Lucky Volley is a rapid punch barrage ending with an unblockable right hook. The knockback from the right hook is a good lead into Hakari's next few moves. This move is very straightforward. I don't have anything else to say. Lucky Rushdown is a grab where you run forward a decent distance. By running into someone, Hakari will grab the enemy and drag them on the ground before throwing them away. The run and grab distances are not connected. You can run almost the full distance and the grab will still be just as long. This move destroys everything in its path as an added bonus. This move has a finisher where the final throw is much more powerful, ending with Hakari leaping after them and shattering the victim's body with a punch. This can be used as partial mobility in some limited scenarios. Overwhelming Luck is Hakari's most interesting ult move. It's a massive leaping punch followed by a low kick that grabs, ending with a punch barrage that can also grab. The entire move has a constant forward momentum, but it is controllable. The way this move chains together is interesting, but also very inconsistent. The beginning punch launches the enemy a far distance and is intended to line up for the following kick. However, this often does not work, and it's best to try to bounce the enemy off of a wall or some kind of object for a better lineup. The following kick picks the enemy up and keeps them locked in front of you, allowing the final barrage to land. The move may look a little jank after the kick, but the enemy will always be hit by the barrage if the kick lands. Similar to Lucky Rushdown, Overwhelming Luck also destroys everything in its path. Energy Surge is a jump punch that launches the enemy high in the air, followed by a right launching punch leap. This move is a launcher and is all things considered pretty simple. The final punch will always launch the enemy to the right of your camera position. This isn't like important or anything, but I just wanted to say I think this move looks really cool. I just really like how it looks. As you've seen from the move showcases, Hakari's Jackpot is a wild and largely invincible awakening. While he doesn't really have many true combos in this mode, you can still chain moves together due to the range, speed, and iframes given by most of them. This is a simple, mostly consistent combo. 3-in-1s, Lucky Volley, Lucky Rushdown, Side Dash, Energy Surge. This combo is very dependent on the area you're in. The more walls, the better. 3-in-1s, Lucky Volley, Lucky Rushdown, Overwhelming Luck. Try your best to line it up with a wall to land the entire move. Finally, we have a different route for combo 1. 3-in-1s, Lucky Volley, Side Dash, Energy Surge, Lucky Rushdown. You might be able to land an Overwhelming Luck after this if there's a nearby wall. In this fight, I'm up 3 stocks, and they're on their last one. I lock in my win by activating Idle Death Gamble, making sure I catch them inside in the process. I land a Shutter Doors, but miss the Fever Breaker, somehow, so I use a Reserve Ball and trade the 2-star Ricci. I land a small combo into Rough Energy as I see Z has failed the Ricci. I rewind time, followed by a down slam, to stall so my moves can cool down. As soon as they're ready, I use Reserve Balls and rewind time again in an attempt to hit Shutter Doors. This attempt fails and I get caught in a small combo. I use Reserve Balls again and land in the 2-star Ricci a second time. I get comboed, but I can see Z making it into the bathroom, securing my victory. As soon as I hit the Jackpot, I use Overwhelming Luck. I miss the first punch but land the kick, allowing me to barrage the enemy. They cancel my Lucky Rushdown and I stupidly miss Energy Surge, but it gives me enough distance to use my R special. They catch me off guard and continue avoiding my attacks until I land a forward dash dead on. They attempt to run again, but I land Lucky Rushdown and throw them into a position for Overwhelming Luck. The punch splats them into the wall, allowing me to land the rest of the move. I smack them into another wall where they attempt to run again, but I land Lucky Volley and win the match. Hakari really is one of the more silly characters in this game due to the almost one-to-one adaptation of his domain, but I think that's what makes him exciting. Having to literally play a slot machine while fighting for your life is a great time and a unique gimmick that keeps me coming back to Hakari. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you on the next episode of Learning Shenanigans.